Let's do this. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Unlocked Show. I'm your host, Tracy Wilson. I am a little bit out of sorts today, so I'm just going to kind of go with the flow with today's show. I did have a guest booked in to share his story with us about the 7 steps to giving. But for whatever reason, sometimes things happen and guests aren't able to show up. So here I am, due to go live at 10 a.m. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a warning today. This might be a little bit all over the place because normally I'm well planned. Normally I can go to my vault of things to talk about and I can get on the ball and I can just go and start talking about things. But some of you have may or may not have wondered, where has she been the last couple of weeks? So given that my guest wasn't available to join me today, I thought, what the heck? I actually didn't feel like doing a live show at all today, but I thought, you know what? It's not an excuse. I'm just going to click the go live button and we're just going to see where the heck this show goes. So let me tell you, where the hell has Tracy been? The last couple of weeks have been I'm going to say a little rough in the world of Tracy Wilson. A couple of weeks ago, for some of you guys know, my mum lived with me for a period of time. I've talked about that on a show. She lived with me myself and my husband for about 14 months after she was diagnosed with cancer just 14 months ago. And she unfortunately passed away just 2 weeks ago. So it's been a real whirlwind of stuff going on in one's life, a whirlwind of emotions, and not to mention, right on top of that, that situation, Tracy goes and also gets COVID. So trying to deal with COVID, dealing with mum's death, and the grief and everything else that kind of comes with that. It's been a little bit challenging to say the least, but I thought, what the heck, I'm going to just jump on here and talk about this today, because I know that often the divine, makes things happen. So the fact that my guest wasn't able to show up today just simply meant that I needed to just go live and just talk about some stuff. And like I said, I haven't planned this. I don't know what the heck is going to come out of my mouth. So I'm just simply going to talk about, I suppose, the experience of the last couple of weeks, some of the things that I want to reflect on, some of the things that I have realized are important in one's life, and in the hope that, I might just be speaking to somebody else who is going through something fairly similar. And knowing that they're not alone, knowing that there are other people out there who are going through similar situations, and that, often there is help at the end of sometimes a very dark tunnel. The guest that I had planned to be on today's show, and it wasn't sort of, I'm going to say planned, but wasn't really planned by me to be at this particular time. But he was going to be talking about, the 7 steps of building a real givers community around you. And I'm going to stick with that theme, I think, because the last couple of weeks have really highlighted the fact that you need to surround yourself with really good people. And the reason for that is when things get tough, when things sometimes don't seem like they make any sense whatsoever, you just need to have good family, friends around you that just wrap their arms around you and just make sure that you are okay. And I'm going to do my bloody best today not to cry, because to be honest, I'm sick and tired of walking around the house crying at the drop of a hat, because everywhere in this household right now reminds me of my mother. So I'm just going to really try not to do that. So let me just share with you guys some things that I suppose I've learnt and reflected on over the last couple of weeks after Mum's passing. During a time where you are caring or trying to do your best to care for a loved one who is unwell, you often feel like you're in the absolute thick of it. You feel as though, and you don't even realize this at the time. This is what I'm going to say. You don't realize that maybe things are getting on top of you. Maybe little crazy, silly little things are just starting to piss you off, and so therefore you might end up having confrontations or friction where really, they're not really required. You look back and you often then think, gosh, I reacted in a particular way to something that in hindsight now seems so trivial and so silly and so ridiculous that in this moment you just wish you could actually go back and have that whole maybe a little uncomfortable experience over and over and over again as many times as you possibly can, because once somebody moves on, out of this realm, this life, this world that we're in, they you can't go back, you can't change these things. And often, when, like I said, when you're in the thick of it, you just don't think that, you just don't see the wood for the trees. The other thing that I would say is that when you're caring for somebody, you don't always notice the slow and steady deterioration that happens over time. So I suppose my advice, my hope for somebody else is, if you are caring for a loved one, things are feeling a little tough right now, maybe they're doing some stuff that is, out of character. And you don't even realize that it's out of character, because in that period of time, in that moment, you forget what that person was actually like prior to their illness. You forget all of those things because you are so living in the moment. You're living what's going on at that time. And like I said, it wasn't until Mum's passing that I had an opportunity to go back, and we were putting together her service, and we were looking at a whole bunch of photos, and my sister and my brother-in-law did such an awesome job in putting a lot of those memories together. And as I was sitting in the crowd, being part of Mum's service and watching, all those fantastic memories that we made over many, 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 well, many decades, it just reminded you of how wonderful life is, but also how short life is. So I just want everybody who listens to the Unlocked show, the whole philosophy around this show is that we live our life as fully and as unlocked as we possibly can, because I can tell you that you just never know when your time's up or somebody else's time is up. You don't know the last and final words you might say to somebody. You don't know the last thing you might see them do. You don't know the last experience you might share with them. So my hope today is that if anybody's listening to today's show, that you go away, you hug your kids tight, you tell them that you love them, you hug the people around you, tell them that you love them. And don't just do it today, do it on the regular. Make it part of your unlocked life, that is what you do all the time. So that, just because you should, just because it'll make you feel good, and, and you'll be able to create some amazing memories. The other thing that I've also realized is that over the last sort of 5 or so years, we started a number of traditions in my family, so with my kids. And a few years back, we started to create a little business that was just my husband and I and our 3 boys. And it was about uniting families, helping our family predominantly to come together and be really reunited and be strong, so that we could weather whatever storm came our way. But that also then led us down a path of creating a business that would also help other families do this. And again, I knew that it was, I knew at the time that what we were doing then was going to be significant. It's not until now that I realize how significant that business really is. And it's called Project Unite Us. And we called it Project Unite Us because it was, like I said, it originally started with uniting us, my small family, my husband, myself, and my 3 boys. And that extended to our extended family. So to my mum's family, my dad's family, my husband's family, etc. And what we started to create was just helping family members create memories, create traditions, gather stories, gather your history, and put all of that together inside of an online portal that you're able to share with other people. So I just, so I just wanted to share that with everybody because, you know, I just want you to know how, excuse me, I've got a runny nose now, how important it is to think about how you can build memories. How can you create some form of traditions in your family so that you remember them and the children remember them now and like well into the future? By us creating that meant that my grandchildren can remember my mother. They remember their great mother and their great grandmother and all of the things that they did with her. And we've been able to gather a lot of that information and put it into a portal. So now if I want to, I can go into that portal and I can listen to mum's voice. I can read the things that she wrote when I asked her specific questions. And the same with a lot of other family members that we have, we've gathered that information from. So, like I said, sometimes, these shows are not always what I set out for them to be. I set out for this one to be with a guest on, and I thought that was going to be really safe. I could come back into, doing my show, having a guest there makes it really easy. I just have to ask questions. I don't have to get too emotional about things. And God be damned, the guest wasn't able to arrive. So what do? I really felt like just shutting it down and not doing the show today. But that's just, I know that that's not how you move forward. That's not how you we have to continue with our life. And I know that my mum will want me to do this. She would be sitting in the background, in her bedroom behind this wall, listening to me every Wednesday when would be doing this show. So I just want to make sure that that I showed up and that I am able to find the strength and the courage within to be able to keep going. And I want you guys to be able to do exactly the same when things get tough, when things don't go the way that you expect them to go. Just, take a step back for a moment and then be able to take your step forward. And again, I reflect on that whole time with, mum's death and, and being hit with COVID at the same time. And again, another, I suppose, divine thing, put me on my ass. It really, really did. I was really unwell at that time. And then just trying to process, what was going on with mum and everything else that was happening. But it certainly gave me the space and time that I needed to process what was actually happening, to try and get myself well. And and just pick yourself up and just keep going, because I know that's what mum would want me to do. And and just to keep on keeping on. So that being said, today might be a little bit of a short show today. Like I mentioned right at the beginning, I warned you guys, had no idea where the show was going to go. No idea exactly what was going to come out of my mouth at this time, but I know that whatever comes out is the thing that you have to talk about. It's the thing that is required, and somebody out there will be listening to today's show and will be going through some hardships, will be going through the grieving process of losing a loved one, and they need to hear this message. And so I just want to make sure that that there are people out there that love and care about you, and that you can get through whatever's going on. So that being said, like I mentioned, this is going to be a short show today. I'm going to see you guys back again on Friday. I'll have something a little bit different. I will plan for that. I'll be back to my normal Tracy on the Unlock show. But I wanted to just say a big shout out to everybody who reached out to me during this time to check on me, to make sure that I was okay, to make sure that, we had food and all those sorts of things. And they were just, the community and the family that I have just put their arms around myself, my sister, my brother, my dad, and our entire family to make sure that we were doing okay at that time. And I just wanted to let you guys know how much we absolutely appreciate it. And if there's anything that I can do for you guys at any time, I want you guys to reach out to me too. And if there's somebody that's going through some hardships, again, if you just need an ear, somebody to talk to, because sometimes that's just all we need, is just to be able to jump on and talk about something in a time of need. And I also want to say thank you to you guys for watching this show or listening, because again, it's funny how things happen, but just being able to do the show on a regular basis, being able to find sometimes the opportunity to compose yourself to be able to share a message is really, really important, because that really did help me deliver Mum's eulogy on her day of service. So I'm forever grateful that I have a platform like this that enables me to share my thoughts, to share my feelings, to be open, raw, and honest with you guys. Sometimes I cry with you, sometimes I laugh with you. None of you, I can't see any of you. I can see that there are people watching, but I don't even know whether there are people out there that are watching ever. But I just wanted to say thank you very, very much. It means a lot to me to be able to get on and do this, and for you guys to be here and sharing in the journey of life with me. So that being said, I'm going to call it a day today. I want to say, go out, live your life unlocked, because as I always say on the show, there is just no other way. People are messaging me right now saying they're hugging me tightly, and I'm hugging you tightly back too. So thanks for watching the Unlocked Show. And I'll see you guys again on another episode of the Unlock Show on Friday. And I'll probably share something with you about podcasting and creating your own live show, because it's such an exciting thing to do. If you haven't already created it, you want to keep tuning in, and I'm going to share with you my tips, tools, resources to be able to do that. And if you want to accelerate your success in that area, then you can head on over and join the Live Show Secrets on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. We have Vicky Helm and I have put together a 14-day series inside of there that you guys can start working with us absolutely free to help you get your live show up and running. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys again on another episode of The Unlock Show. Bye for now.